My name is Sam, and I drive for a rideshare app. Most nights are the same. I drive people from bars to their homes. I take students to the library. I shuttle business travelers to their hotels. The city lights blur past my windows, a familiar and comforting sight. I listen to the radio, half hearing the songs as I wait for the next ping on my phone. The work is simple, and usually, it's predictable. I like predictable. It means I get home safe with a little extra money in my pocket. But last night was different. Last night I got a request that changed everything I thought I knew about the world. The call came in just after midnight. It was my last one. I promised myself that. Just one more fare, and then I would head home to my own warm bed. The pickup location was an old, quiet street lined with tall, dark trees. The kind of street where the lamps seemed to swallow the light instead of casting it. I pulled up to the curb, my headlights cutting through the deep shadows. There was no one there at first. I waited, tapping my fingers on the steering wheel. I almost canceled the ride. I thought maybe it was a mistake. Then, a figure stepped out from behind a large oak tree. She was just standing there as still as a statue in the pale glow of my car's lights. The app said her name was Mira. I unlocked the doors. She opened the back door slowly and slid inside without a word. I remember a strange chill running down my spine, even though the heat was on. It was a cold that had nothing to do with the temperature outside. It felt like the night itself had followed her into my car. The door clicked shut, and the silence inside the car suddenly felt heavy, like a thick blanket pressing down on me. I cleared my throat, trying to break the quiet. I looked at my phone for the destination. It was an unusual one, especially for this time of night. Ravenwood Cemetery. I had driven people to some strange places before, but never to a cemetery after midnight. It felt wrong. It felt spooky. I wanted to ask her if the address was correct, but something stopped me. Maybe it was the strange stillness that surrounded her. I just put the car in drive and pulled away from the curb. The old street disappeared behind us, and we headed toward the edge of town, toward the final resting place of so many souls. The journey had begun. My passenger, Mira, was a puzzle. She was pale, so pale that her skin seemed to glow in the dim light of the car. Her dark hair fell around her shoulders, but her face was hard to see in the shadows. She wore a simple white dress, which seemed strange for a cool night like this one. She carried no purse, no phone, no luggage of any kind. It was as if she had just appeared out of thin air with nothing but the clothes on her back. I tried to make small talk, like I always do. "Quiet night," I said, my voice sounding too loud in the silent car. She didn't answer right away. After a long moment, she just nodded. Her eyes were fixed on the road ahead, but it felt like she was looking at something far beyond it. I tried again. "Heading to the cemetery, huh?" "A little late for a visit, isn't it?" I asked, trying to sound casual. Her voice, when it finally came, was soft. It was like a whisper. "I have to go home," she said. Just those 5 words. They hung in the air between us, filled with a sadness I couldn't understand. Home? Why would she call a cemetery her home? I didn't ask any more questions after that. The silence was better than the confusing answers. The drive to Ravenwood was long and quiet. The city lights faded away, replaced by dark fields and skeletal trees. The road was empty. We were the only car for miles. I kept glancing at Mira in the rearview mirror. She never moved. She just sat there, staring straight ahead. Her stillness was unsettling. It wasn't a calm stillness. It was an eerie, unnatural one. I felt like I was driving a ghost, not a person. A cold dread started to creep into my bones, a feeling that something was terribly wrong. I just wanted the ride to be over so I could go home. We passed the old iron gates of Ravenwood Cemetery. The sign was rusted and worn. The place looked ancient and forgotten. I followed the narrow, winding path through the rows of tombstones. They looked like silent, gray sentinels in the moonlight. "Where should I stop?" I asked her, my voice trembling slightly. She didn't point or give me directions. She just whispered again, "Here is fine. This is where I go home." I pulled the car over, my heart pounding in my chest. The ride was finally over, but my fear was just beginning. I stopped the car next to a large weeping willow tree. Its branches hung low like a curtain hiding the world beyond. I turned to look at the fare on my app, trying to seem normal. I just wanted her to get out of the car. I wanted this strange encounter to end. I waited to hear the click of the door opening, the sound of her feet on the gravel outside, but there was only silence. A deep, profound silence that was even heavier than before. I held my breath, listening. Nothing. Not a sound. Not a movement. It was as if the world had stopped completely. I lifted my head and looked into the rearview mirror. My blood ran cold. The back seat was empty. Completely empty. The seat where Mira had been sitting just a moment ago was now vacant. I froze, my hands gripping the steering wheel. How was this possible? I hadn't heard the door open, I hadn't heard it close. The car's interior light would have turned on if a door had been opened, I would have noticed. My eyes darted to the side mirrors, searching the darkness outside. There was no one there. No figure walking away among the tombstones. She was just gone. Vanished. My mind raced, trying to find a logical explanation. Maybe I was tired. Maybe I had imagined her. Maybe she had slipped out so quietly that I hadn't heard her, but I knew that wasn't true. I knew she had been there. I could still feel the chill she brought into the car. Panic began to set in. I fumbled for my phone, my fingers shaking so badly that I could barely dial. I called 911. I think I'm confused, I stammered to the operator. I just dropped someone off at Ravenwood Cemetery, but she disappeared from my car. I didn't hear the door. The police officer who called me back sounded tired but calm. I explained the story again, my voice filled with fear and confusion. I told him her name was Mira. There was a long pause on the other end of the line. "Son," the officer said slowly, his voice heavy, "we get this call every year, always on this date, always the same name, always the same place." He took a deep breath. "A young woman named Mira Singh died in a car crash on that road 10 years ago tonight. You're not the first driver to give her a ride home." The words hit me like a physical blow. I was driving a ghost. I don't remember driving home from the cemetery. The officer's words echoed in my head over and over again. "We get this call every year." I felt like I was in a nightmare. I stumbled into my apartment and fell onto my bed, but I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that empty back seat. I saw the pale face of the girl named Mira. The sun was rising when I finally remembered the one thing that could prove I wasn't crazy. My dash cam. It recorded everything, inside and outside the car. I had to see it. I had to know for sure. With trembling hands, I took the memory card from the camera and plugged it into my laptop. I scrolled through the footage until I found the trip from last night. There it was. The dark street, the oak tree. I watched as the back door opened and Mira slid inside. My heart pounded as I saw her there, a real person sitting in my car. But something was wrong. On the video she was faint, almost transparent. It was like watching a phantom. I could see the seat right through her. It was her but not her, just a whisper of a person. I kept watching, my eyes glued to the screen. The footage was mostly silent, just the low hum of the engine. Then, as the car passed under a streetlight, the light caught the window just right. For a single, terrifying second, Mira's reflection became clear on the glass. I could see her pale face, her sad eyes. But she wasn't alone. Behind her reflection, looking out from the darkness of the back seat, was another figure. It was a man. He was smiling. It was a wide, terrible smile, and he was looking directly at the camera, directly at me. I slammed the laptop shut. A scream was trapped in my throat. Who was that man? Was he the one who caused the crash that took Mira's life? Was he another ghost, trapped in the car with her, or was he something worse? I don't have any answers. All I know is that I will never forget that ride. I will never forget Mira's sad voice or the chilling smile of the man in my back seat. I haven't driven for the app since that night. I'm afraid to. I'm afraid that one day, I'll look in my rearview mirror and see him smiling at me again.